Hello and welcome back to the WGL APAC Season 1. We're into our final match of today and it is going to be a fantastic matchup. Alex, Wargaming up against Gold Bass. Blockbuster one coming up to close things out today.
Absolutely, Jordan. And I think Wargaming and Gold Bass, look, it's our featured matchup for today, right? Because Wargaming, obviously the Chinese powerhouse. They went to this year's grand finals, even the last grand finals. Gold Bass as well, Korean team that have been around the scene for quite a while.
Yeah.
That they didn't perform they haven't performed so well internationally. But in this region, in the Asia Pacific region, they are dominant.
Yeah.
To date, really.
Yeah.
So it really should be quite interesting to see these two guys, how they go with the new season, the new format, new tanks, new everything in World of Tanks.
New everything indeed. It's going to be a really interesting matchup to see, I guess, how both these teams are going to go throughout the entire competition. Obviously, they want to get off to a good start.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I expect we'll see both these teams, regardless of how this one turns out, towards the top end of the standings. But, maybe they get off to a bad start. They have a bit of issues early on and get knocked out crazily in our relegations. But who knows what could happen here. I think, obviously, Wargaming are the favourites throughout the entire competition. But Gold Bass certainly could give them a run for their money.
They could. Yeah, definitely. I think my pick here, look, if I... This is going to be tricky, right? Because obviously we've got, Wargaming who they're used to playing in this sort of high tier of competition. Gold Bass are as well. But, going up against each other, I actually don't know too many of the results for their previous matches. So, bit of an unknown.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and take a look at what tanks we might be seeing in the first matchup of today because, well, we'll see what happens. Obviously, it's going to be Ghost Town here as our first match. E100s, two of them on the side of
and a T57 heavy for Wargaming. That's interesting.
We did see the T57 on Ghost Town in our last matchup between B Gaming and Team Efficiency, and it actually worked out quite well. I think it was on Team Efficiency. So, I'm not against that. A lot of autoloaders here for Wargaming. Two AMX50Bs, the Batchats, the T57 Heavy. So, interesting to note.
Yeah, not bad at all. So basically, Wargaming, they've got so much front-end damage that what the Gold Bass are going to be wanting to do with their lineup is they're going to be wanting to kind of sit back a little bit.
Yeah.
They're not going to be wanting to kind of go all in.
No, they don't want to brawl.
They don't want to jump into them. They don't want a street fight.
No.
They don't want anything like that. They want to sit back. They want to find some nice defensive positions. Get their tanks. In nice hold down spots where only their turrets poking out.
Yeah.
That's what they want to do here. Whereas obviously Wargaming, they're the team that's known for being aggressive. They're the team that's known for just going absolutely ham, so to speak.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what their lineup is reflecting there. So, we'll wait and see.
If there was ever a lineup that you would have expected to see a team going super aggressive with, it would have been that one. Or maybe like the 5 Batchat lineup that we saw earlier today. That was probably another one of those kind of lineups. But certainly all those autoloaders, once they come off the reload, initially they're going to come in there with a huge amount of burst damage if they can get in the right sort of position. As you mentioned, if they get into sort of like a prolonged, I peek you and shoot, fall back and hide.
Yep.
Then obviously they're going to lose that situation because they don't have the alpha damage that some of these other things like the FU215B, for example, is going to have.
Exactly. So, look, we'll wait and see, but it's going to be interesting once we swap sides as well, because obviously that's going to have a bit of a reset, and I really don't think that the Gold Bass are going to be picking the same tanks as Wargaming have.
Yeah.
Once we get the side swap happening, so really. We'll have to wait and see. But here we go in the map fly through. We can see that it's a very symmetrical map here, Ghost Town, and you can see the 1 and the 2 flags rolling out here with the guys from EL Gaming. It's looking like they're going to be heading towards mainly the 1 flag, I think, Jordan.
Alrighty, let's have a look and see how this one turns out for Gold Bass because, it's going to be an important thing to start us off here. Get off to a good start in the series is always nice. And they are obviously on the attacking side. They can dictate where the fights happen and how they happen more so. So they should have a little bit of an advantage in this.
They should do, actually. I think right here, Gold Bass, I'm liking how they're kind of heading up towards the 2 flag. Those heavies very good at poking around these little corners here where they've got a lot of alpha damage on those guns. The E100, of course, having that big cannon on it with a nice long reload time as well to make up for its large alpha. But Darjeeling is going to start to put the cap pressure on already. So already we're seeing this very strong aggression from Gold Bass, and I wonder whether they're going to stay in the cap.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about this. I mean, I'm generally speaking not a huge fan of the 2 cap for the attackers on Ghost Town. I like to see them head towards the 1 cap. I think it generally yields a bit more of a success, but I guess that's something that we can perhaps discuss later in the season when we have a bit more information on how things are going. But you can see EL Gaming just absolutely making their strength known as they charge straight in towards that 2 cap. Lots of damage going across to Darjeeling, and oh my gosh, he's down by 1500 HP. Going to try and get some bit of defense behind his teammate there on the E100, but really that's not going to work out too well for him either. Both the E100s down a huge amount of HP here on Gold Bass, and I mean they've got a couple of caps going on here, but I don't think it's going to do them too much.
Oh, beautiful bit of play there by EL Gaming. They just poked their AMX 50Bs, that French Tier 10 auto-loader with all those shots in the clip, out. They got the kills and...
do a grind.
Yeah, do a bit of a grind. I
didn't realise we were playing a skateboarding game.
Yeah, apparently. But there you go. So it's looking like we are now going to be seeing EL Gaming. They've reloaded their auto-loaders now, Jordan. They're going to be going right back in.
Yeah, you can certainly see that they're very keen to do that, and they did lose the early picks, but they had the extra damage advantage over the Gold Bass that now they're probably going to be able to come in here and clean things up. I mean, they can't necessarily go into crazy like. They need to be pretty safe, not take too many risks, but they certainly have the advantage in this one. You can see Hellcure taking a bit of damage there in the Conqueror, but his mate there in the FV215B is going to take a peek. It's a bit of damage for his troubles, and not a huge amount going over to his opposite number in the FV215B.
Oh, look, the 50Bs are coming behind.
Yeah, you're certainly right. The Batchat 25T AP in a lot of trouble here. Hypo is going to be taking huge amounts of damage. He's down, and there you go. He's out as well. Gold Bass looking a little bit worse for wear here now. Down by about 2,000 HP, and it's all a matter of time here before EL Gaming should be able to, in theory, clean this one up. They are taking a bit of damage for their trouble, though.
They definitely are, and Gold Bass, look, they're going to be trying to fight this all the way to the end, and we've got one of EL Gaming's members only on 69 HP. That's one shot from one of these guys, but it's not going to be happening, and Gold Bass should be going down now. Overall, just excellent bit of play there from EL Gaming. Gold Bass, look, they took it right to the wire to give it to them. EL Gaming only with 3k HP left. Yeah. So, still a very close match, but in the end, EL Gaming, their first little push on towards the 2 flag that dealt so much damage to those E100s, just really...
Well, that's what I don't really like about the 2 flag. There's not really anywhere to hide. I mean, sure, you've got the E100s, which you could argue is kind of like a steel wall, but when everyone's shooting premium and they're the best players in the region, the armor is almost negligible because they're going to be penning the majority of their shots anyway. So, I just didn't think the strategy there for the guys from Gold Bass was necessarily the best.
No, not quite, unfortunately, and particularly since the guys from Gold Bass, they didn't need to do that.
No,
could have just held back a little bit more, but live and you learn.
Let's have a look and see how that one turned out for the guys from Gold Bass. I'm sure they're probably ruining their decisions in that one. That was an interesting part of the game there. But probably the best thing that Gold Bass actually did in the entire map.
Probably. That was pretty amazing. So I think, and here we go. This was the AMX 50B of EL Gaming catching out the Batchat right on the bottom, and boom, that was a Batchat which couldn't, unfortunately, unload enough shells before he dropped.
Yeah, now heading over towards the defensive side for Gold Bass. They might perhaps prefer this a little bit because they might be able to play a little bit more reactively as opposed to proactively, where they had to make the decision of let's go towards that 2 cap, which obviously didn't work out for them. But let's have a look and see how they're going to go about things, because I think we've got some tank lineups available for us here. And the FV215Bs this time making an appearance.
There we go. So Goldbass going to be going with 3 FV215Bs, and as are EL Gaming. In fact, we're not going to be seeing all of those auto loaders now that EL Gaming are on the attack. Instead, they're going to be going with a little bit more kind of a stock standard, I feel, lineup. They've got 2 AMX 50Bs, which are a little bit different, but interesting that they haven't opted for any ISs, so preferring the raw firepower of the 50Bs and the 215Bs over the kind of nice armor of the ISs.
It is a very heavy lineup there for EL Gaming, isn't it? I mean, the only one that they don't have that's a heavy is the T54 lightweight, so it's going to be a lot of HP to I guess, punch through there for the guys on Goldbass.
It definitely will be. So I think just interesting that we don't see the T57 here, because I felt as though so far we've seen it twice.
Yeah.
Right? And both times, if I'm not incorrect, on Ghost Town.
Yes.
When we've seen the T57 heavy. So interesting that we could be seeing a bit of a shift in these teams picking philosophy, so that they might be picking up that tier 10 American heavy autoloader a little bit more often.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was particularly effective in that particular matchup. It certainly was effective in team efficiency and B gaming. So there's arguments for and against it, I suppose. And you can almost say, well, why don't you just pick up an AMX 50B if you wanted a tier 10 autoloader?
That's quite true. Quite true, but here we go. These guys will be picking up some AMX 50Bs here. So we can see over on the EL side already starting to move out, and this is quite an interesting rollout here from EL Gaming. They're actually split into 3, so it looks like they might be sending a couple of guys up towards the 1 flag, 2 down towards the center of the map, and the rest of them down towards the H line, so right at the bottom. So really splitting their forces up a little bit. That means that these guys do not want an all-out brawl early on.
Yeah, you're right. It is quite interesting, and as you mentioned, they definitely don't want to get into any kind of confrontation, because, let's say these guys up in the B line, the BO area, get into a fight. What are the guys down in towards the H7 area going to do about it? Absolutely nothing. But you can see across the board, though, for Goldbass, they've decided to group up just a little bit more. They'll be able to help each other a little bit quicker. So if EL Gaming don't play this correctly, they are going to be in a bit of trouble. And you can see, looks like the FV215B from EL Gaming just briefly caught out there. Did take just 1 shell. So I think he'll be probably breathing a sigh of relief there.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's looking like it. But EL Gaming here, I'm going to be struggling against these 3-2 FV215Bs. They're all lined up, kind of set to fight against them on that sort of D7 area there. But Goldbass have already taken about 2,000 HP more worth of damage than EL Gaming, so not off to a great start here, Jordan.
They're getting absolutely smacked around at the moment, and EL Gaming, you can see the rotation coming across from the south area, coming in to back up these players at the top of the map. Hina now in the bat chat is going to be taking a little bit of damage, not too much, but certainly finding himself in a less than ideal position. Even if these couple players up the top there for EL Gaming do go down, the T54 lightweight and the 113, I would suspect that EL Gaming are probably going to be pretty pleased with how this one is turning out regardless. Look at how much HP damage they have done across to Goldbass. I don't think this 113 is going to be able to close out a kill up here, but he's going to survive for just a little while and be a bit of a nuisance. Gets a lot of damage across to that T54 lightweight. In the meanwhile, you can see one of the EL Gaming players has managed to pick up a kill onto Goldbass, and that's actually the first player on Goldbass to go down, but we are going to start to see a bit of a flurry of Goldbass players going down. As you can see, they're all very low on HP. 1 or 2 shots going to be enough across the board to pick up any of these players from Goldbass. And really, EL Gaming, once again, they lose the initial kill, but they get so much damage across to Goldbass in response that they're able to clean things up quite easily in the end. And well, another very convincing victory here on Ghost Town for EL.
EL Gaming just looking so strong right here. And again, even Hypo in that T54 lightweight for Goldbass just cannot hold a candle to the rest of EL Gaming. And Ghost Town, particularly when we're seeing like kind of city fights like that, right? You expect it to be a very close close sort of battle when the brawls erupt. Like, you expect it to be like, okay, maybe there's going to be one, maybe two tanks left over by the end of it, particularly when you've got two teams of such a high caliber.
Yeah.
As Goldbass and EL Gaming, but EL Gaming with, I think, more than half of their team still alive?
Yeah,
at the end of it?
Players left alive, so more than half, as you mentioned, and they certainly did do quite a good job on that matchup. It seemed like they were very, very comfortable there on Ghost Town, and certainly a lot of things I think that Goldbass are probably going to have to take away from that.
Definitely, and here we can see, I think this was Hina from Goldbass. This was the first kill there, but it was, a kill onto a T-54 lightweight, so not too valuable.
Whatever, essentially. I mean, you don't want to be throwing away your tanks, but if you had to choose a tank to get rid of, you'd probably be choosing the Tier 8 tank.
Exactly, so...
If the Tier 8 can take a bullet, or a shell rather, for any of the Tier 10 tanks, then you may as well do that.
You may as well, I think. Why not? I suppose, and that's what the Tier 8s are for a little bit, kind of getting in there, being a bit of a nuisance early on, and, obviously all of the Tier 8s, for those that don't know, have a lot less HP, a lot less damage than the Tier 10s in general, so...
Yeah, so our next map is going to be Ruin, and it should be a pretty interesting one. Generally speaking, it goes towards the defensive side. Ruinberg, that's right. Sorry. I've written it down as Ruin because I didn't have much time to write. But that's going to be Ruinberg as our second map. And let's have a look and see what tanks have been picked up. The Batchats once again coming out here.
I love their Batchats, these guys. They love them.
113s as well for EL Gaming.
Yeah,
Chinese tank, Chinese team.
Yeah.
Can't complain.
Wish
we had an Australian tank in the game.
Well, we have the AC-4 Sentinel.
Yeah, well. Australian Lion.
Yeah,
let's get an Aussie.
That'd be nice, but
I don't even know Australian tanks.
Don't think it's too many.
Probably just stole all the British ones.
Yeah, pretty much. But Goldbass there, going to be rocking with two Batchats as well as some FE215Bs instead of the 113s, so opting for that British tank with lots and lots of firepower and lots of damage per minute, so they can just put out crazy amounts of damage there. Jordan.
Yeah, they certainly can, and I think EL Gaming coming into this one are going to be feeling pretty confident. Obviously, they picked up 2-0 on Ghost Town, feeling, or at least quite convincingly. So now heading on to Ruinberg, I don't know what side they're going to be starting on. I think they'll be starting on attack, which is probably not ideal, but I'm sure they'll be able to get over that and put a bit of pressure there on Goldbass again.
Yeah. They should be here on Ruinberg. So I think Ruinberg it's not a symmetrical map. So the way to play attack on Ruinberg is very different to the way you play defense. On attack, of course, you're really going to be wanting to kind of probe out the enemy, see how many players the defenders have got left around that one flag, and kind of make your decisions from there, sort of thing. If you can on the defense, obviously it's okay. How many are we going to send back to defend one? How many are we going to be sending back to defend the 2 flag, and how that's all going to work. So lots of communication involved.
Yeah, well, I mean, generally the strategy that we have seen coming out from teams on this map, on their offensive side, on their attacking side, is that they've headed towards the south end of the map. They've tried to scout out that area and see if they can perhaps get a bit of a pick towards any of the defenders that might be hanging around in that area on their own. And if that didn't work, or even necessarily if it perhaps did work, they move their way back into the town, make their way back up to the 1 capture, and try and really attack their 1 cap more so than the 2 cap.
There we go. So we can see Ruinberg there, the city over on the left, the kind of fields and small town over on the right. And both of these teams are going to be rolling out with some pretty nice tanks overall.
It does look like EL are going to actually be starting out on the defensive side. So Goldbass, the ones under a little bit more pressure in this one.
Just a little bit, I think. And, well, I mean, Goldbass obviously already under lots of pressure. They are 2-0 down in this series here, Jordan, as we know. So just taking a look at where EL Gaming are rolling out to. This is, again, very interesting rollout. We never see this too often on here on Ruinberg. EL Gaming, they haven't sent anyone into the little town around the kind of E0, F0 area. Instead, they're completely focusing on the 1 flag. And Goldbass are going to be sitting kind of hidden in the city.
Yeah, this is very interesting. But EL Gaming, I mean, we spoke about what an aggressive sort of a team they are, and you can see that evidence right here as they're just completely pushing into enemy territory. This is something you would never see any other team do. they've decided, let's just go into the town and see if we can find a fight here. They're 113th leading the charge. They have another bat chat hanging around there.
That tank on the right. Yeah, that bat chat. Number 1. He's going to get a nasty... Oh.
No, I think he's proxy spotted all of those guys, and now he's going to have a bit of backup from the 113, who will do a bit of damage across there. The Batchat is taking a bit in response, but still at the moment it is favouring EL, and they might lose this Batchat, but they're certainly getting the damage across that they need. You can see the 113's all on reload, but eventually they will be able to take down the FV215B from Golbass. There you go, it's a 1-for-1 trade so far. The HP at the moment very slightly in the favour of Golbass, and I think they might have just a little bit of an advantage here.
The Batchat's coming in.
The Batchat coming in from the side, as you mentioned it, coming right behind the FV215B. Hellcurai in a terrible position here, and all of these Golbass guys in a horrible position. They need, though, this reset on the 2-cap. There's only one player from EL that is going to be able to do that. That's the Batchat up there, hanging around in towards the E line. He has to get the reset. Only 9 seconds left. This is such a crazy game. I have no idea. It's going on all across the map. He does manage to get the reset and the second shot across as well. This should, in theory, be the game in the favour of EL. There's 34 seconds left on the clock here for Golbass to cap this, and I think EL should be able to get back here and reset it in time.
They should be able to. In fact, they will not even need to. Right there, Jordan. As Golbass have already moved away from the flag. And look, that Batchat 25T is going to be moving away. We've got the 113 actually has to be a little bit careful, number 2 there, because he's crossing an open street, just misses one shot. Lucky there that he didn't get punished by Golbass.
Full speed, just, you know what, I'm going to fire a shot off here and see what happens.
Yeah, YOLO.
Didn't work, obviously. You know, it's not terrible here for Golbass. I mean, it's 3 versus 4, but that 113 could be taken out in one shot here from any of these guys from Golbass. But as I say that, they managed to catch off this Batchat. Unfortunate for him, he's just been stuck there and taken out quite easy. Poltolic going down, and now only 2 players left alive here for Golbass, and the 1390 on a Batchat. The 1390, you can probably say, not going to have too much of an impact on this one. Hina is going to go down very quickly there as well, and wow, I mean, what a performance from EL. I mean, such an aggressive push into the town there, and definitely not what we would have expected.
Super aggressive, and like the thing is, normally, you know, that proxy spot, that tank that proxy spotted all of Golbass in the town.
Yeah.
Right, it was a Batchat, and he was so quick to react that, you know, as soon as he proxy spotted them, he was like, okay, whoa, I'm getting out of here. And he bought himself enough time.
Yeah, that couple of seconds.
Yeah, exactly, a couple of seconds that let him get off another, I think, 600 damage.
Yep.
And that was all they needed.
Well, that swung it in the favour of EL Gaming, didn't it? Because it was a even match in terms of tank for tank. But EL Gaming were able to just get that little bit of extra damage. They got a few of the earlier shots off, and their reloads as a result came off quicker. And, well, in the end, they spiraled it. They snowballed it in their favour, and EL Gaming pick up the 3rd in a row for them.
See you later, Golbass.
Golbass having a little bit of difficulty. It's a bit of difficulty.
Just a touch. Just a touch. They're honestly looking pretty outclassed at the moment, if I can say so, Jordan. But you know, hopefully they can pull it back on the next up. Ruinberg, of course, not a symmetrical map like we said, so you know, really they could pull it back on the defensive side on Ruinberg, which is some teams definitely find a little bit easier to work with on the defensive side there. So we'll have to wait and see. But so far, 3-0. 3-0.
Yeah, EL
to the guys
really
from EL.
Yeah, EL really stamping their foot on the matches so far, and I guess we did expect to see EL performing quite well. Maybe not this well against Golbass, but that's how it ended up coming out here for EL. They've still got a couple more matches to go, though, before they're going to be able to close this one out. Certainly looking good to almost be able to close this one out 5-0. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but, well, wouldn't be surprised the way they're going at the moment.
Yeah, not too surprising at all. But there we go. That was no hyper. He was almost safe. Almost.
And well, safe is a relative term, because I think even if he had have gotten in there, he might have only lasted, what, 5 seconds longer?
True.
If that.
Right about that. So I think Hypo, they're not going to be too happy about being highlighted on our stream as
well,
yeah, as our one highlight from that match, but he'll come back from it, I feel.
Yeah, alrighty guys, we are moments away from heading into our match number 4, which is going to be Ruinberg We'll have a look and see what the guys have decided to pick up on this one. FV215Bs across the board for Goldbass.
Okay, yeah, just taking a look. We've got 4 FV2.
Remember, they're on the attack. No, they're on the defense.
Yeah, they're on the defense this time, but you know, they took them on the attack as well, and didn't work out super well. And EL Gaming, they've got the 3. They love their 113s, EL Gaming, and the Bat Chats as well, and they've got the Gorilla 15 on their side also. And I think that's quite a nice tank for the attack here on Ruinberg. And well, if there's any team that can make it work, it is probably going to be EL Gaming.
Yeah, I'm actually really interested to see what they decide to do, because again, we spoke about it previously. Just before the last round started here, we thought the attacking side is going to go down towards the south of the map, and Goldbass did that exactly. This time though, EL Gaming on the attack, I mean, they are kind of a team where they're probably not going to conform with what everyone else is doing. They're just going to decide, oh, you know what, we're the best team in the region, let's go and do what we want to do. And, well, hopefully we're going to see some crazy stuff coming
Hopefully, with any luck, I think, Jordan. So, really, I mean, with that lineup, I think we're going to be seeing some pretty similar stuff to what we saw in that last half there. Probably going to be going for a city push. The Gorilla is very good in the city. You can push it right up towards that 1 flag, and it can get some nice long shots towards the 1 flag out there. Of course, for those that don't know, the Gorilla is the most accurate tank in the game, 0.25 meters per 100 meters accuracy on its big gun, which deals, I think, around about an average of 750 damage. So, pretty insane.
Well, it's going to be an interesting one coming out here for EL Gaming. I certainly expect that, at least the way they've been playing, they should be able to pick this one up without too much difficulty.
Too much? Well, we'll wait and see, I suppose. But here we go. So, early on, we're going to be seeing where these guys are rolling out to, and the Gorilla is actually not going to be moving too far at all. I'm not too sure where the Grill has gone there. It's going to be number 1. I think the main tank destroyer player for EL Gaming is actually Black or Nice. I forget.
Yeah, Black is the main heavy tank player, I think, for EL.
Heavy tank is okay. Yeah, so there we go.
I mean, well, like, obviously there's a few of them playing heavy tanks here, but generally speaking, if they've only taken one, it's usually on Black.
Okay. That makes sense. So right now, EL Gaming, they've just spread out quite nicely, and as expected, they are sending their Gorilla up towards that 1 flag.
See, this is why teams tend to push towards the south of the map. You can see this T-54 lightweight down on his own. Could be easy pickings here for EL.
Could be super easy pickings there. Of course, the T-54 lightweight, being that tier 8 tank, does not have anywhere near the HP of these tier 10s. Only 1250 on that one. And there we go.
This is exactly how this needs to work out for EL Gaming. I know, I mean, we've seen it happen so many times before. Like, there's always that one tank heading down towards that KO area or the JO area, and they always get picked off.
It's like the one guy in your team, whenever you go into a random battle, who's just like, oh, okay, guys, I'm going to be really aggressive right now. I'm going to push right up. Look at this. I'm going to get some early spots, and I'll just shoot them once before they even know. It's like, no, you won't.
Yeah, they just get absolutely.
To be honest, I did that a little bit, so I'm kind of guilty. I mean, I don't mind it if I get caught as good as Hypo. Back in my day when I used
to play the A20.
The A20?
Yeah, the good old Russian Tier 4.
Beautiful.
Tier 4. Anyway, those were the days. Those were the days. What, beta, pretty much. Still, we can see again, EL Gaming have just got that early advantage. This time they actually start off with the initial pick as well, which is contrary to what we've been seeing throughout this series so far, which is, I guess, even better for EL. And, you know, I almost want to call it right now. I almost feel like EL are going to close this one out.
That's pretty early. I think that's... look, I think that's a little bit too early to call right now, because we can see here, EL Gaming, they've got two tanks right up towards the 1 flag. And if Goldbass pull the trigger in the next 20 seconds before those 2 EL mediums, I think they're Bat Chats, come on towards the 2 flag and come to help out, then Goldbass still should be able to kind of, you know, make it work. But the issue is Goldbass aren't pulling the trigger.
No, they certainly are not. We can see the FV215B here taking a little bit of damage. Darjeeling A little bit worse for where he's been absolutely surrounded, and you can see those shells coming right into the back of his tank. He's got absolutely no hope of surviving there. EL pick off another tank. No damage actually being taken at all so far from EL. This would be hilarious if they were able to take it without taking any damage, but as I say that, awkward. The Bat Chat takes a lot of damage. Still, a fantastic result so far for EL Gaming. They've got almost twice as much HP as Gold Bass here, and it's only going to be getting better for EL Gaming. This one is almost all said and done here for Gold Bass. They've just been absolutely decimated here on Ruinberg.
Yeah, and you know it's Ruinberg. Is one of the matches that we don't see teams often. You know, if they win the attack, they're going to be really confident on the attacking side of Ruinberg, and maybe, you know, that's going to be on the defensive side. They might not necessarily show the same, you know, level of play. But here, EL Gaming, both sides, look at that, doesn't even matter. They are just looking super strong.
Yeah, 35 or so seconds left on the cap here, and Hina just driving around into town. I mean, there's not really much that you can do in this situation. Just taking another shot to the back again. That's from a 113, and so far, all these shots from EL Gaming have been completely on point. I haven't seen one that's actually missed or bounced throughout the series. So, well, yes, EL Gaming coming in here and basically showing us that they're ready to play.
Showing us that they're ready to win right here, Jordan, as the base cap is just about finished. There's absolutely nothing that Gold Bass can do. 3 seconds left, and honestly, even if they do something, Hina's on 233 HP. So there we go. That is going to be another win over to EL Gaming. 4-0. So this could be the first 5-0 that we see this season.
Yeah, and I mean, we were kind of hyping up this game that it was going to be a really good one between Gold Bass and EL, but at the moment, EL, well, I mean,
jinxed it.
To be fair,
that's what's happened.
I think it is quite a good game. I think EL
it
Gaming
is
putting on a bit of a masterclass.
Yeah.
So
get your notepads.
I'm actually enjoying it.
Yeah, get your notepads down. Right, you know, jot down where EL Gaming are going, what tanks they're picking, all of that good stuff, and you can take it into random battles yourself. So even Clan Wars. So.
Yeah, well, that was a little bit of a difficult map there for the guys on Gold Bass. Let's have a look and see what went wrong. I think initially, we spoke about this already so much.
Yep. Hypo, he's got a little bit too hyped and paid the price for it as he poked over the hill. And Darjeeling here as well, in the FV215B.
Yeah, he kind of got caught in no man's land. A little interesting to have him in that position when there was no one up towards the one cap sort of area to hold that alleyway, the B sort of line where the guys from EL Gaming could come out of the town. But regardless, I mean, I don't know if it necessarily would have helped them in the end if they had have had a player over there, because they probably would have just gotten overwhelmed by the Bat Chats. And
probably.
It was just such a masterclass coming out from EL Gaming, and now heading over towards Cliff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm counting my chickens before they hatch here, but I think EL's going to 5-0 it.
Do you know what I'd love to see on Cliff? Nothing but bad chats. Nothing but bad chats.
Well, I mean, that can't
it's
happen,
doable.
right?
It
happen.
can.
Well, an AMX 1390, I suppose. Oh, the Bat Chat. Yeah, okay.
Yes,
the new one.
the AP.
Well,
yep.
Yeah, technically.
It can happen. They're all Bat Chats, Jordan.
They are.
So let's see. Come on.
It's not the real one.
Hey, all Bat Chats. Yes.
This can't be real.
Okay,
There's no way this is real.
This has got to be real. This is brilliant right here.
There's T49.
Oh, this poor T49.
To be fair.
And I don't think our graphic has the tier 9 Bat Chat in it because it's so new, so we'll have to get that one fixed. But it's all Bat Chats.
Hey, I think a T49 here might not be the worst.
A T49, no, I love the T49 pick, honestly, because if the T49 can get some good, you know, derp shots on towards those Bat Chats, the paper thin armor that they have.
Yeah, exactly.
Then yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah, well, who wouldn't be? I mean,
but I mean, look at that. That just looks so pretty. All Bat Chats. It looks like it was like an error or something like that. Just nothing but Bat Chats. But nope. That's what they picked. They're just like Bat Chat, Bat Chat, Bat Chat, Bat Chat, Bat Chat.
We'll have to wait and see how it turns out. It was a good call. I'll give you that. I feel like you had someone in your ear. You can't make a call like that. There's no way.
I don't know. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't.
You're gonna have to tell me off air. I promise I won't reveal this secret.
I know, I'm pretty good at these things, Jordan. So believe it or not.
Gadget tank pick.
Go gadget tank pick.
Is that how it goes?
I think so. I mean, I haven't made great win picks, but I'm pretty happy with my tank picks so far.
Yeah, they've been pretty good. I'll give you that much. But well, I mean, your picks have been good. whether or not the picks for the teams have been good.
Exactly.
You know, stacking bat chats is all well and good, but you do need to be able to back it up. And I think EL Gaming probably be feeling pretty confident heading into this.
Need to be able to hit your shots.
Yeah.
So, and I believe last year's grand final that we saw as well in the grand finals, that was, we saw at least one match on Cliff that was just all bat chats.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, and I remember that was the Na'Vi match, and one of the bat chats kind of fell down. I think fell down one of the...
Is this the Apple Wow incident?
Yes, the Apple Wow incident. That's it. So definitely.
Stuck. I hear they're making some sort of memorial thing for it on that.
Something like that. That's pretty cool.
But
yeah, there we go.
Put in yet? I don't know. Anyway, that's pretty cool.
Is Cliff.
So bat chats galore.
Bat chats galore.
Well, you know what I think, Alex? I think we're going to see an aggressive strat coming out here from EL Game.
Really?
Yes.
Really, you reckon?
I do.
That's a bit of a gamble. Are you sure you want to go that out there?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think you're right, to be honest. And honestly, look at this EL Gaming. They're even going up the little hill, pushing each other up the hill. So a little bit down at the kind of D4 line. Yeah, there we go. These three guys from EL Gaming, they didn't even bother to go up, the actual road. They don't need that. That's not the EL Gaming style.
That's not the EL Gaming way. You can see they're trying to get control of the lighthouse as well, or at least the road up towards the lighthouse. And you can drive up the side here, which is what Gold Bass are doing. They can get up to the lighthouse from this position. They're going to meet a few of those EL Gaming players, and this is actually pretty good from Gold Bass. I mean, it's kind of irrelevant because there's no one from EL Gaming that could probably shoot them.
Dutch Yelling, he's fallen down. It's not worked. It's not going well. It needs a little bit more practice.
Oh, he almost got stuck as well there, but no, he's going to get out okay. And yeah, Gold Bass, they needed to be a little bit quicker getting up that the side of that cliff there, but it's not easy to do, Alex. No. I mean, they make it look easy, but it certainly is.
Well, to be honest, that didn't look too easy.
Well, yeah, it was easier than it looked.
Yeah,
it's harder than it looks.
It's harder than it looks, definitely.
They certainly were a little bit mountain goaty, but got knocked off there by the
mountain bat chatty.
Yeah, certainly. Still, again, I mean, we keep going back to it, but EL Gaming have found themselves once again with a slight HP lead early on.
Yeah, there we go. So EL Gaming right now going to be just looking up the top of the lighthouse, and look, they've already got map control. With these three tanks on the lighthouse, they can poke over any time and effectively, using their field of view, eliminate locations where Gold Bass are not.
Yes.
And by obviously reverse deduction, they can find out.
Process of elimination.
Process of elimination. That's the one. They can find out where Gold Bass actually are.
Yeah, Gold Bass at the moment, I mean, they initially kind of grouped together and tried to push up towards that Lighthouse Cliff area, but now you can see they're spreading out a little bit and making their way down throughout the 1-2 line as well, with Hina and his mate in the bat chat as well. So, yeah, I mean, Gold Bass, again, slowly but surely, they're bleeding damage at the moment. EL Gaming just every now and then picking up a single shell that they have. They get the slide advantage, which... And a missed shot coming out there from Polterholic, I think it was. Whoa, okay. Whoa. That was interesting. We just seen one of the guys from EL Gaming get absolutely decimated. That's a bit of a swing back in the favor of Gold Bass. But as I say that, you can see Lyricia is in a bit of trouble there.
Just a little bit, I think. And I think the fight is breaking out on the middle of the map, as well as Hina is forced to reload in that bad chat. But overall, a little bit closer than what we've seen before. As Omi there in the bad chat of Gold Bass now. His gun is damaged, and yep, there we go, goes down.
Looks like we might be seeing another EL player going down. There we do. Hellcurie now up against the Batchat counterpart, who is actually reloading. Hellcurie is going to get another shot off here, but Hina coming in for the ram. Not going to do a huge amount of damage. All these guys on reload. Eventually, Hina is going to get his and should get the kill here. Gold Bass, though, still in quite a poor position here in terms of they've got less tanks left in the game. They've got less HP left in the game, and a couple of them are on reload as well.
Just a couple right now. And is Hellcurie trying to get up the hill again? He might be. I'm not too sure what he's doing, but there we go.
Yeah, I think it's really not going to help him out too much, regardless of where he ends up. He's got a couple of enemy bat chats looking at his position, and certainly...
the T-49. Hypo might be able to get a shot off.
I'd love to see a penetrating hit from the T-49 here.
Oh,
did
there
a lot
we
of
go.
damage.
Yep. Good little bit of damage there.
Not enough. I mean, not enough. Gold Bass, there's no way they're going to win this. And, well, I mean, that's a fantastic performance coming out from EL Gaming. 5-0 up against Gold Bass.
5-0. Who would have expected that? I mean, EL Gaming, obviously, not me either. I can guarantee you that. But, 5-0 to Gold Bass. So one of the strongest teams in the league. So if EL Gaming can do this, one of the strongest teams from last season, I think...
it's boding well.
Put it this way. I wouldn't want to be versing EL Gaming next week.
I wouldn't want to be versing EL Gaming tomorrow, because we're going to be seeing a couple of games from them tomorrow as well.
Exactly.
So
one game from them tomorrow.
Game, yeah. A couple of rounds, let's say.
Couple of rounds.
Well, maybe only 5 if they keep playing like this.
Yeah, well, exactly. So that's it. That can be the only good thing if you go up against EL Gaming. You can be like, oh, well, this will be a short match.
Yeah.
But definitely it's going to be interesting to see if anyone can take them out after that performance, 5-0, or whether, was it just Gold Bass kind of faltering a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see how Gold Bass continues their play throughout the season. I think we'll be seeing them tomorrow as well. So it should be an interesting one. I still suspect or expect that they might be a reasonably strong contender in this one. But who knows how things are going to turn out. EL Gaming certainly looking very good. I mean, I kind of questioned how they were going to do with those roster changes, but, well... I think they've answered those questions quite well. Yeah,
they've answered them and signed at the dotted line down at the bottom of them. So really, it's not going to be looking too bad for EL Gaming moving forward, you could say.
Yeah, well, we'll find out tomorrow, because we do have another big game, or big day rather, coming up tomorrow for our World of Tanks here at the WGL APAC Season 1. You can tune in at the same time as today, which was 3:30 p.m. GMT +2, which is also 4 p.m. standard time in Australia. If you don't have any of those times in your little book, you can check
Australian
it out
Eastern Standard Time.
Right.
To be fair, shout out to all of my family over in Perth as well, who are operating on GMT +8 for this one. So.
Anyway, you can check us out then, but until then, we'll bid you good night and happy tanking. Okay, seems I'm wrong.